Hello, everybody. And today I have an ASGTG fanatic, Moshe Solomon, who's been very helpful and on many fronts with the sales community. How you doing, Moshe?
Great. How you doing, Ed? Great to see you.
Great to see you too. We are going to discuss, you have a lot of experience going to product sourcing trade shows, and there are a lot of tips from your 20, 25 years of experience of going to shows you want to give. So let us know what you want the sales community, what pieces of information they can benefit from.
Sure. Thank you for letting me on, Ed. So yeah, I've been going to shows for over 20 years, and I did find, especially in the beginning, it does get very overwhelming and confusing, especially for newbies. I love talking to newbies in the group where they're just getting started and they're confused and they don't know where to go. So this is the season for shows. I find usually January, end of January is when a lot of shows start, February into May, and then all year round. So I tried to condense it. There's three main points that I want to talk about. So number one would be how to prepare before the show, right? There's a lot of preparation you want to do. In the beginning, I used to just book the show and go and not have anything in mind, and that was not good. The second thing would be what to do at the show. And the third point would be the follow up after the show, which is very important. So let's just get right into it. Number one, everyone needs to research what shows you want to go to, right? If somebody's in the toy business, just Google it and find out what shows there are in the toy business. It can be within the States, it can be within Europe or anywhere in the world, depending on what products you're looking for and how you want to go about it. So research what shows you want to go to, especially if it pertains to you. In general, whenever I found that there's local shows, like in the Javits Center for me in New York, it's a no-brainer. I jump on a train. Most of the shows are free or close to free, and if it's in the Javits, why not jump on a train, check it out, and after a half hour, it doesn't make sense, I can leave. So those are the no-brainer shows, even if it doesn't pertain to you 100%, but you might learn something. Um, every show usually has an exhibitors list. So if you're not sure if it's for you or not, you look at the exhibitors list. Hey, I know that company. I know this company. This makes sense. And if there's a few companies that are there that are in your industry, that pretty much shows that it does pertain to you, even if you don't recognize the rest of them. All right. So once you decide to go to the show, most of them give you a app to download pretty much close to the show. And when you download the app, you can click on the vendors you want to see. You put a little star next to it, and it helps you map out your show. Um, Sometimes it's helpful to make appointments before the show. Like this, you can slide out the time. Hey, I'll be there at Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Let's meet. Like this, you're not just sitting there and waiting for them to be available. I'm just going to talk about some miscellaneous as well. It's important to book smart flights. I remember at the beginning, I thought I'm going to save time by, flying to Vegas 6 in the morning, go straight to the show, and then fly home from Vegas that night with a red eye. That's a killer. It's just not worth it. You want to go the night before. You want to stay that night afterwards if you could, because that makes a difference. So booking a smart flight, even if it costs a little more, makes a world of a difference. Dressing right and dressing comfortable. So you're going to be doing a lot of walking. So really, it sounds silly, but really, go for comfortable shoes, comfortable sneakers. That makes sense. And you want to dress appropriate. I was always taught go a little higher than what you used to. So if you're not sure what the attire is, dress more appropriate than if you're not sure. So whichever industry you're in, whether it means wearing a polo shirt, whether a button-down shirt, sometimes a blazer might be right. You don't want to walk in, with an Hawaiian t-shirt and shorts. They're not going to take you seriously necessarily. Business cards, very important. So, obviously you need a business card, and you can be very creative with your business cards over the years. Don't forget, it's a very small investment. It can cost you $20 to $50, but that business card is very important when they look at it. There was a time where I was selling a lot of brands and I was buying directly from the brands. I actually put on back of each business card, I put the logo of all the brands that I was buying from on the back. It's like this: when they meet you, they're like, "Oh, well, what do you do? What brands do you buy from?" And you, even though you're telling it to them, but when they see the brands on your business card, somehow it's like, oh, this guy's legit, even though it's just a $20 business card you have. So really be creative and put some thought into your business card. It can make a world of a difference. Okay, now going to the show. So you need to have your story straight, right? we all know in 2024, if you're going to go to a show and say, hi, I sell on Amazon, they're pretty much going to tell you, sorry, we sell ourselves on Amazon, or we sell directly to Amazon, or we don't want to sell on Amazon. So you really need to have your story straight. If you have stores, that's great. Hey, I have 20 stores. Okay. Or I'm selling overseas, or whatever it is. I have my own website. I sell on influencers through TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is. Get your story clear and in your head, because that's going to be very important for the first few seconds when you meet a new vendor at a show. Okay. Now, how to walk the floor. So, right, you walk into a show the first time, especially, and there's just thousands of booths and people walking around, there's noise, and you're like, whoa, where do I start? So everyone has their own science. This is what I like to do. So number one, if I have appointments or if I have certain vendors I want to see that I worked on before, I go to them first. So let's say there's 7 vendors I want to see because I have them on my list. I'll hit them first. I know I did those 7 because that's what I'm here for. Okay, once I did my appointments or the vendors I want to see, I like walking around the perimeter of the show. So I'll go around to the right and go all to make a circle. I happen to like walking down the middle aisle. I find, and every show is different, the middle aisle usually gets you a good overview of the right side and the left side of the show. Walking slow, taking it all in, and hitting the vendors that way. Okay, just a little one point I forgot. If I'm there the night before, I like to exercise the morning of the show. You're going to be doing a lot of walking. You don't want to get tired out. Try to hit the gym. Try to hit the treadmill, hit the gym if you could, exercise before the show. Have in mind, at the show, there's a lot of owners of companies and decision makers, so which is great. That's why I love going there. You're calling someone on the phone when you're not at a show. Who knows who you're speaking to? You're going at a show, the owner's there, the decision makers are there, so that's great. Taking notes, very important at the show. So figure out how you want to take notes. You want to go old school, keep a little notebook in your pocket with a pen, that's fine. I happen to like on my cell phone, I use Google Keep, and I just put everything in there, and it hits my computer right away. As long as I'm on Google, I can copy paste and move it around. So that's great. Take pictures because you're at a show. You're seeing a lot of people, a lot of things going on. Anytime you see something that a name of a company or a product you like, just snap it. Take out your phone. If they're exhibiting it at the show, you have full right to take a picture of it. Just snap a picture. It doesn't cost anything. Okay. I happen to like what I call the golden hour. So usually during the day it's busy and there's, especially if it's a popular booth, there's tons of people there. I happen to like obviously I'm working the show all day, but if the show ends at 6 o'clock and it's a 3-day show, let's say, so every day it ends at 6 o'clock, between 5 and 6 is my favorite hour. A few things are going on. You got to remember, most booths the guy has to be there till 6 o'clock because he has a booth. So he's sticking around till 6 anyways. At 5 o'clock, a lot of people start going out to catch their dinner appointments. A lot of booths start giving out alcohol and beer, so everyone's going to get their drinks and schmoozing and stuff like that. So 5 and 6, it's pretty empty, and everyone's in a good mood, I find. And it's just, for me, I found that to be my golden hour, right? I have a lot of success at that time. Okay, taking breaks during the show, very important, right? After you get there, let's say 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, by 11, you've been walking, you're exhausted, you're stressed a little. Sit down, take a chill, have a coffee if you're feeling a little tired. Definitely drink water as much as you could during the day, and just sit down, relax, take a break. I happen to like booking hotels that are attached or right next to the show itself, and I'll actually 11, 12 o'clock, I'm going to leave, get some fresh air, get some sun, go to my room, refresh, have a little lunch, and then just reset myself and come back because you have another few hours to go after till the show's over. So that's great. At night, after the show, taking notes, very important, right? Usually at a show for 2, 3 days. So you hit the hotel at night, everything's still fresh in your head. You have everything on your phone. Make some notes of who you saw, who you still didn't see, what you liked. And all of a sudden, you're going to create yourself a list for the next day at the show. Oh, I didn't hit these 3 guys. This product looked great. I want to go back because he said his boss is going to be there tomorrow, whatever it is. And you set yourself up for the next day. Okay, wearing, some of these things might sound silly, but it can make a big difference. Wearing your tag as much as you could, right? You always get your tag and it says your name on it, name of the company. So when you leave the show, you're going to your hotel. Good chance 50-60% of people staying in that hotel are also at the show. They see you wearing the tag. They're like, hey, Moshe, what do you sell? What do you do? What product are you in? You're going out to eat that night in Vegas or wherever it is. You're wearing a tag. It might look a little nerdy, but like, oh, you're also at that show. Can I talk to you? Whatever it is. I've worn it sometimes at the airport. You make yourself like you forgot to take off, but all of a sudden you're wearing it at the airport. You're sitting there for 2 hours. You're on the plane. The guy was also at the show. He's starting a conversation. So I happen to like leaving the tag on as much as I could. Okay. Follow up after the show. But this is where everything comes in. I used to go to shows and just come home and then hope I'll place some orders and see what happens. No. Now you got to follow up. So you have all your notes, you organize it. I like to organize it by most important to least important, which vendors are like, okay, I got to get into do business with these guys. And these guys are like, maybe not, let's see. So follow up, make your notes. Give them a few days. They just got back Monday, the first day back in the office. But Thursday, you're starting with your emails or your phone calls. Hey, great seeing you at the show and so forth. Now, here's a great tip that I use. Let's say for whatever reason I didn't see a certain vendor at the show because his booth was packed and I couldn't see him, or I just forgot to go to him. If you drop him an email or a phone call, him or her, and say, hey, it was great seeing you at the show, or I was at the show, that gives you so much more credit. Oh my gosh, this guy came to Vegas. He's a player. He was at Vegas. He was at the show. Let me talk to him. So just by saying that I saw you at the show, or I missed you at the show, or whatever it is, using that gives you a lot of clout. Okay. And then sounds silly, have fun. You're at a show. Don't stress out. You finish your show at night, chill a little, go to, if you're in a certain town that has a baseball team or a hockey team, go to a game, have some fun, go out for dinner, enjoy yourself. Okay, now people ask me, do you like going to shows yourself, or go with your business partner, or go with someone else? Some people go with their spouse. It depends on your personality. I found both ways. I happen to like going myself like this. I know what I'm looking for. I'm focused. No one's holding me back. But I have gone a couple of times with my business partner, and it turned out to be really good because, four eyes is better than two. You also feel more comfortable. You walk into a booth with two people, you feel more comfortable having a conversation, rather than with just yourself. I'm just going to keep this short. So I'm just going to end off with two interesting things that happened to me. I was at a huge show in Vegas once, and I thought I hit the whole show and everything. But then I looked at the directory and I see there's a whole like West Wing that I didn't even know about. And you had to take like a train or something to get there. And there was a whole other part of the show. And I walked in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost missed it. And so just keep your eyes open, read the maps, read the directories, talk to people, because for all you know, there's a whole other show and it could be a different industry going on at the same time. Let me go hit that since I'm here. And just to end off with the cute story, I love this one and it's just so true. We need to try, do our part, right? We go to a show, we do our work and so forth. I was at a show once and it just didn't work out. I got there tired. I wasn't feeling well, didn't find any vendors, and I was just feeling a little down, but I kept pushing myself saying, hey, you did the right thing. You went to the show, you're doing what you're supposed to do. On the plane on the way home, as I'm putting my bag up on the overhead, somebody I saw in the industry was walking by to his seat and he says, hey, Moshe, how was the show? I said, honestly, it was okay. He goes, did you see this and this vendor? And I didn't even know what he was talking about. I said, no. He goes, oh, because I hear they're totally selling out all their stuff. They're doing some great deals. I actually know them. Here's who I deal with. Here's their number. You might want to call them. And I did some great business. I called that vendor and I said, so and so gave me your information. I saw you at the show. I use that. And I had like a good few years of business from that vendor alone, just because someone said something to me on the plane on the way home. So you never know where it's going to come from. We have to do our part. I hope that helped. It was a lot of information, but if you can, write it all down and see what works for you, I think it'll be very helpful.
Yeah, I think anyone that goes to a show and doesn't listen to this is really missing out. This was amazing info, but the best tip I like was wearing the tag even after the show. That was brilliant. Simple brilliance. I love that.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Nice coming on. Bye.
My pleasure. Thanks again, Ed.
Bye.